also discuss about the classification of distribution system. That is the second unit of electrical distribution system. So classification, how they classified according to service, according to construction, according to number of wires, according to supply, and then we have to differentiate that one: AC distribution system, DC distribution system, underground distribution system, overhead distribution system, primary and secondary distribution systems. After then, design and rating of distribution system. Design of a distribution system is nothing but feeder, distributor, service main, and the requirement of distribution system is nothing but proper voltage. We have to maintain proper voltage and power availability and demand, reliability. After then, so construction, depending upon construction, so distribution systems are classified as radial system, ring main system, interconnected systems. After then, go for the primary feeder, radial type primary feeder. So in radial type primary feeder, and some modifications will be there. Sectionalized radial type primary feeder, express and back feeder, area feeder. After completion of all these things, then we go for the loop feeder or ring main type feeder. Then, so we discuss about the some problems, that is AC distribution calculation, voltage drop calculation on AC distribution system. So power factor referred to receiving end, power factor referred to respective load voltages. Both are calculating. After then, voltage level, how to calculate the voltage level in a primary feeder. Primary feeder loading, a design practice of, otherwise a practice design of secondary distribution system. Then secondary banking. So these are the contents or topics of second unit as you discussed. Now go for the unit 3. Unit 3 is nothing but substations. Generally, what is meant by substation? Substation may be defined as assembly of apparatus that may perform switching operation, voltage transformation, power factor correction, power and frequency converting operations. So all these comes under the substations only. That means present days electric power system alternating. Alternating means we have to voltage transferred from high voltage to low voltage. That is the voltage transformation. Then it will be distributed through feeders. So different consumers. So that's why. So totally substation may be defined as an assembly of apparatus installed to perform switching, voltage transformation, power factor correction, power and frequency converting operations. So generally all these things will be with the help of substation we have to done. What is the main purpose of substation? So to take the power at higher voltage, right? From the secondary transmission, substation will take the power from secondary transmission system and then it will given to the primary distribution system, right? So main purpose of substation is to take power at high voltages from the transmission or sub-transmission system and reduce its voltage and then supply it to a number of primary feeders for distribution system surrounding the substation area. In addition to perform all these operations, it may employ operational emergency switching operations and protection duties at both transmission and feeder levels completely. So look at the definition once again. an assembly of operators installed to perform voltage transformation, switching operation, power factor correction, power and frequency converting operations. So what are the substations used to change the some characteristics means voltage must be changed from high voltage to low voltage. Sometimes AC to DC operation also done and frequency must be converted. Power factor also changes. All these things will be done by the substation only. Now go for the classification of substations. First topic, classification of substations. So there are several ways of classifying the substations. However, two most important classifying them. So two important ways for classifying the substation are the most important. First one, according to service requirement. Second one, according to constructional feature. So mainly depending upon these two requirements, service requirement depending upon construction. So substations are classified, broadly classified, so many types. So first one, according to service requirement. So a substation may be called upon to change the voltage level, right? So substation means to change the voltage level from some suppose general our substation 66 kV to 33 kV. So higher voltage to lower voltage and also to improve the power factor and also convert AC power into DC power. Where we are convert AC power into DC power, suppose it may utilized in direct small cottage industries. So therefore, according to service requirement, substations are mainly classified into transformer substation, switching substation, power factor correction substation, frequency changing substation, industrial substation. So these five: transformer substation, switching substation, power factor correction substation, frequency changing substation, industrial substation. These five substations comes under the according to service requirement. So first of all, what is transformer substation? Generally, transformer substation means these substations which change the voltage level of electrical supply. So are called transformer substations. That means which substation will change the voltage level from one level to another level. So that type of substation is called transformer substations. These substations receive power from at some high voltage and deliver it some low voltage. Obviously, the transformer is main equipment in such substation. That means, suppose in general, we have to take 66 kV to 33 kV. Transformer may step down the voltage from 66 kV to 33 kV. So this type of substation is called transformer substation. In this substation, what is the main equipment? Transformer is the main equipment. So most of the substations in the power system are of this type only. Why? Because you have to step down the voltage from high voltage to low voltage, right? That's why. So most of the overhead substations are all transformer substations. So nearby our houses also, the transformer substation will be available. Second one, switching substation. These substations don't change the voltage level. That means the substations, switching substation does not change the voltage level from high level to low level, right? So that is incoming and outgoing lines have the same voltage. However, they simply perform switching operations of substation only. That means they do not step down or step up the voltage, they will maintain only switching operations, on and off operations only. That type of substations is called switching substations. Next one is power factor correction substation. Those substations which improve the power factor of the system are called power factor substation of a power factor correction substation. Such substations are generally located at the receiving end of the transmission lines, right? So what is the meaning? Power factor correction substations may improve the power factor of the system only. It does not change the voltage level or it does not change the operation. It just improve the power factor only. Where power factor correction will comes to the picture, load side, that is consumer side, not substation side, consumer side. So the load where due to the load variation, power factor also varied. In such cases, we have to improve the power factor at the load side only, load side or receiving end side. Generally, how to improve the power factor with the help of capacitor, right? Shunt capacitor. In general, in this type of substations, power factor correction substations, we are utilizing a synchronous condenser to improve the power factor of the equipment. What is meant by synchronous condenser? At no load condition, overexcited synchronous generator may act as a capacitor. So such device is called synchronous condenser. Under no load condition, under overexcitation condition, the synchronous generator synchronous motor may act as a capacitor, and total device will acting as a synchronous condenser may improve the power factor at the load side or receiving end side. Next one is frequency changer substation. So those substations which change the supply frequency are known as frequency changer substation. That means it does not improve the power factor, it does not improve the voltage, or it does not reduce the voltage, or it does not change the operation, on and operation. It just improve the supply frequency value. So such type of substation are called frequency changer substation. So such frequency change may be required for industrial application only, small cottage type industrial application only, where power must be converted AC to DC. Next, converting substations. So this is those substations which change the AC power to DC power. At that time, the substations are used for converting AC to DC. This is useful for special purpose such as battery charging and electric braking, right? So tractions, electroplating, electric welding, all these applications may require DC supply. At this, at those cottage industries may require DC power. That's why you have to convert AC supply into DC supply. Then that DC supply may supply to the such type of cottage industries. Last one, industrial substations. Those substations directly taken from the 33 kV or 11 kV. Such type of industries are required large power. So for that, industries may utilize industrial substations. So like this, according to service requirement, the substations may be broadly classified into transformer substation, switching substation, power factor correction substation, frequency changer substation, converting substation, industrial substation, right? Next, another classification, that is according to constructional features. According to construction features means how to construct the substation. So already we know the well known the different types of substations, that is outdoor substation, indoor substation, pole mount substation. So these are the substations classified as according to construction. Generally substation has many components like circuit breakers, switches, fuses, instrument transformers, and lighting arresters. So many equipment, auxiliary equipments may available in a substation, which must be covered properly. So all the equipments may protect properly to ensure continuous and reliable service. So according to this construction features, the substations may be classified as indoor substations, outdoor substations, underground substations. First of all, indoor substations. Voltages for voltages up to 11 kV. So the substations are called as indoor substations. Why? Because for economic operation or economic point of view, we prefer indoor substations below 11 kV. However, when the atmosphere is polluted with impurities, these substations can be erected. That is nothing but step up for voltage up to 66 kV. So under such conditions, that is under emergency conditions, so indoor substations may utilize up to 66 kV volts only. Generally, in general, there is no emergency conditions. In general, indoor substations are utilized up to 11 kV only. Suppose is there any problem occurred in the atmosphere, at that time these indoor substations may utilize up to 66 kV also. Next one is outdoor substation. For voltages behind 66 kV up to 11 kV indoor, and is there any emergency conditions, that 11 kV may extend it up to 66 kV, right? That is for indoor substations. Suppose go for the outdoor substations. For voltages beyond 66 kV, more than 66 kV, equipment is invariably installed at the outdoor only. Why? Because more than 66 kV is nothing but the size of the conductor increases and equipment size is also increases. That's why, so invariably installed such type of equipments all in outdoor, that is open place. So it is because of such voltages and the clearance between the conductors, conductor gap, and the space required for switches, circuit breakers, and other equipments become so great. So great means distance must be, all these equipments must be maintained some space. It is not economical to install the equipment indoor. All these such a big type of equipments are not installed in the indoor, and that is not a economical one. So such type of instruments may installed freely in the outdoor itself. Next, underground substations. Where underground substations are installed, the density of population is more and more. Density of people are more and more. This is nothing but a metropolitan cities like Calcutta, Bombay, Delhi. Such type of cities may having thickly populated areas. So in that areas, the outdoor substations or indoor substations are strictly prohibited because of protection purpose. So at that situations, we prefer underground substations. So the space available for equipment and building is limited. Therefore, the cost of land is high. Cost of land is high. Space is not available for install these type of big equipments. So at such situations, we prefer underground substations. Under such situations, the substation is created underground only. Next, last one, pole mounted substation. So all are, so this type of substation all are known, well known. Why? Because in villages, these type of substations are more and more. Why? Because a small concrete pole is there. On that pole, a H type or I type transformer is installed. From that, so supply will be taken to the village. So this is an outdoor substation. Pole mounted is also an outdoor substation with the equipment installed overhead on H pole or 4-pole structure. So it is the cheapest from the substation for voltages not exceeding 11 kV. Why? Because in villages, so 11 kV to 230 volts, 11 kV to 440 volts, right? That's why, so rural areas, these type of substations are more preferable. Electric power is almost distributed in localities through these type of substations only. For more discussion on pole mounted substation, so VK Mehta book is there, Principle of Power System by VK Mehta. So otherwise, we don't discuss completely this. This is enough. So pole mounted is utilized up to 11 kV voltage rating, and it is utilized in more in local areas, that is rural areas. So it is an outdoor substation with the equipment installed. The equipment is nothing but transformer. Transformer is installed a small concrete slab, or in between two poles a transformer is fitted. That is the H type. Pole in between these two poles, transformer must be installed. That is nothing but H type. So these are the classification of substations. Right. So according mainly to two classifications, according to service requirement, according to constructional feature. According to service requirement, substations are broadly classified into transformer substation, switching substation, power factor correction substation, frequency changing substation, converting substation, industrial substation. According to construction feature, indoor, outdoor, underground, pole mounted substations, right? Next topic, that is the comparison between outdoor and indoor substation. So most important one, this is also, they don't ask, but important. Comparison between outdoor and indoor in syllabus is there. First of all, as you discussed, outdoor substation, indoor substation, right? First, space required. Space required means generally in outdoor substation we require more space, right? So more space required for outdoor substation. So but coming to the indoor substation, so space is small, space required is less. Next one, fault location is easier. Generally, fault location in outdoor, fault identification, where the fault occurred, that is clearly observed by our eyes. So the lineman will clearly observe where the fault is occurred. There is nothing but fault location is easier because the equipment is in full view, complete view లో ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి మనకు కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి సో ఫాల్ట్ లొకేషన్ మనం ఈజీగా ఐడెంటిఫై చేయొచ్చు. Whereas indoor, fault location is difficult because the equipment is closed, right? Next, future extension is easy. In outdoor, so the future extension, suppose we have to extend the substation rating, that means another transformer, another protection equipments, all are connected easily. That means the future extension is very easy in the outdoor substation, whereas in indoor substation, the future extension is difficult. Why? Because that is already put it into a small room. That room is not extended, right? That's why future extension is difficult. Time required for erection is very less. So after occurring of fault, the outdoor fault will be identified easily and then fault will be easily isolated. That is nothing but time required for erection. Erection means maintenance. So that is very less in outdoor substation. That is very more in indoor substation. Operation is difficult, right? In over outdoor substations, the operation. Why? Because so many manpower is required. That's why operation is difficult. But coming to the indoor, once we have to constructed the indoor substation, so there is no problem. That's why operation is easier. Capital cost is low for outdoor substation. Capital cost means, why capital cost is means it is installed at anywhere on the earth. So we don't need a room, we don't need buildings. That's why capital cost is low. But whereas indoor substation, first of all we have to check the land and then we have to construct the building. Under that building, you have to construct the indoor substation. That's why capital cost is high compared to the outdoor substation. Its maintenance is easy. Maintenance maintenance is easy for outdoor substation. Why? Because once we have to find out the fault, we can clear easily, right? Whereas in indoor substation, it is difficult to maintain because limited place. Limited place. Next, in outdoor substation, severity of fire effects is less. So fire hazards are very less. Whereas indoor, suppose severity of fire effects are more. Once a short circuit occurred means, so that may be dangerous in indoor substations. Whereas in outdoor, so a gap must be maintained to equipment. Suppose if there is fault occurred, that is short circuit occurred in any equipment, that may not severely affect the other equipment. But coming to the indoor substation, all are connected very closely. That's why in one equipment, a short circuit occurred in one equipment, that may more affected, severely affected in the other equipments. If any fault occurs, the repairing work is easy in outdoor, already discussed. So the repairing work is complex. And most severely affected by the lighting strokes. Why? Because it is outdoor, right? Outdoor equipments most severely affected by the lighting strokes. Lighting stroke means పిడుగు నుంచి డైరెక్ట్గా అవి మనం ఎక్కువ రక్షించలేము. అదే ఇండోర్ అయితే, సో దట్ మే ఆల్ ఎక్విప్మెంట్స్ ఆర్ అండర్ ఇన్ వన్ రూమ్. దట్స్ వై సో లెస్ affected by the lighting strokes in indoor substations, whereas in outdoor substations most severe affected by the lighting strokes. And it is not suitable for public safety outdoor. Why? Because all equipments are in the outdoor itself. That's why public safety is less, whereas in indoor public safety is more. And it is favorable to effect of ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ కండిషన్కి బాగా ఈజీగా ఫేవరబుల్గా ఉంటుంది అవుట్డోర్ సబ్స్టేషన్ అనేది. ఇండోర్ అనేది ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ కండిషన్స్కి ఉండదు, ఎందుకంటే ఆల్ ఆర్ కన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్ ఇన్ ఇండోర్, వన్ రూమ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. So these are the comparison between outdoor and indoor substations. And this is the most important question. Next one, location of substation, site selection for substation. That is the most important. Here the question will be asking in two ways. Explain the location of substation, otherwise explain the benefits of site selection for substation. Optimal location of substation, they asking two ways. So both questions answer must be same, but for optimal location we can put only some points only, main points. Location, all are points. These are points, all are well known. Why? Because which type of land is suitable for substation, which type of location is suitable for substation. Very, very important. So they don't ask classification asking some least times. Explain the classification substation, otherwise explain the pole mounted indoor substations, like that they are asking. So mainly they are asking explain location of substation or explain briefly optimal location of substations. Most important question most of the time. Generally, what is the substation? Substation may be defined as assembly of apparatus, right? Assembly of apparatus, so many equipments installed to perform switching operation, voltage transformation, power factor correction, and power converting operations, right? What is the main purpose? Generally, it is to take the power at higher voltages from subtransmission level and to reduce that voltage to given to the lower level distribution systems. So that means the voltage, higher voltage must be reduced to lower voltages. That is the main use of substation, right? Generally, the location of substation is decided by the voltage level. So, and also continuity of supply, voltage regulation, transmission cost, substation cost, and other factors of primary feeders, and also distribution transformers. However, to select an ideal location, that is optimal location of a substation, the following rules are needed. That means we have to follow this strictly for following rules. First one, locate the substation as much as feasible. What is that meaning? Locate the substation as much as feasible means, so construct the substation that is close to the load center of its service area, so that additional load times distance from the substation is minimum. Substation is installed or erected at the nearer to the load center means the distribution transmission feeder line reduces, feeder cost reduces. Second point, locate the substation such that proper voltage regulation can be maintained without taking any extra measures. That means, so the substation is nearer to the load center means automatically feeder cost is reduced, right? And load variations are reduced. Whenever load variations are reduced means voltage fluctuations will be reduced. Voltage fluctuations reduced is nothing but the voltage regulation of a complete system must be very good, right? Fluctuations will be less means efficiency high, regulation is low. Regulation low is nothing but, so you have to maintain a good voltage profile. That's why, so locate the substation such that we have to maintain proper voltage regulation, right? Next, third point, select a substation such that it provides proper access for incoming transmission lines and outgoing primary feeders, and also allows for future growth. That means we have to maintain a proper access, so substation to the primary feeders and also outgoing lines of the primary feeders, right? Next point, the selected substation location should provide enough space for future expansion. So is there, suppose the rating of the substation is now 33 kV. Suppose after 10 years or 20 years, the cities like Kavali may extend it more and more. That means the substation rating also increases from 33 kV to 60 kV. So to increase that rating means all the equipments, transformer, switchgear equipments, all equipments must be increased. So increased means you have to require more space. For that, so enough space is required for future extension of the substation. Next point, the selected substation should be free from atmosphere pollution. So that means, so we have to select a substation that is away from the industrial area. Away from the industrial area means, so that industrial area, suppose industrial area is there on that particular place, so more and more pollution, because of that pollution corona may causes in the substation. That's why, so to selected substation location should be far away from the industrial area because of to avoid the air pollution. Next point, the selected substation location should not be approached by land regulations and also local ordinance and neighbors. Suppose we may buy the land for access the substation or install the substation. That land is not in court. That land is not utilized for regulations, and that is not easily accessed by the neighbors. That's why to must buy the field for substation that is free from all the liabilities. That means rules and regulations. Next point, the site selected for substation should have proper drainage facility, right? Why? Because it does not lead the pollution which are harmful to health of staff and also equipment provided in the substation. There is no drainage, proper drainage facility in that substation area. So total the drainage water may pollute the equipments, and also due to that drainage water, the working staff may lead to unhealthy problem. That's why, so we have to maintain proper drainage facility for that particular selected location. Next one, the site selected for substation should be low cost, and it should be have minimum expenditure for its construction. Suppose in some areas, suppose Kavali or Nellore, some areas are costly areas are there. So some areas are low cost areas are there. So we have to select so the field for low cost. Why? Because site is more cost is nothing but the capital cost of that substation is very high. That's why to reduce that capital cost, or installation cost. So we may choose field for cost. Field cost is very low. Next point. The selected substation location should held to minimum number of customers affected by any service discontinuity. That means, so proper line will be provided for every consumers. So at the end of the consumer also, they will access the power with continuously and regularly. They don't give some complaints to the substation. So every consumer may access continuous and reliability of operation. Then only the people may attract to buy the electricity from the electricity department. That regulation, rules and regulations, all rules and regulations may strictly followed by the distribution company. The basic facilities like schools, hospitals, housing, water, etc. should be available for the staff. Why? Because so many staff members may working in the substation. So for that substation working members, we may provide hospitals, we may provide schooling for the for their children, and also we may provide water for drinking purpose and some remaining purpose also. Next point, the selected land must be level and open from all the sides. So it does not close it at one end. The selected site for substation should be open from all the areas. And also other facilities such as adaptability, emergency conditions also we may provide for that substation. So like this, all these points, all these facilities may provide the substation. For such type of location, we have to choose to construct the substation only. That is first point is generally substation may close to the load area, that is nothing but consumer areas. Why? Because the distance between substation and consumer may less, means feeder line length may reduces. That may reduce the capital cost. Next, locate the substation such that proper voltage regulation we have to maintain. Next, select the substation such that it provide proper access for incoming feeders and outgoing feeders. The selected substation location should provide enough space for future expansion. Selected substation should be free from atmospheric pollution. Selected substation location should be opposed by land used regulations and some local ordinances from the neighbors. The site selected for substation should have proper drainage facility. The site selected for substation should have low cost and should involve minimum expenditure. The selected site contains should held minimum number of customers, that is nothing but minimum number of customers may give complaints. And also basic facilities like schools, water, drainage, all these may provide. And selected site or selected land must be level and open from all the sides. So these are the most important points to select the location of a substation, right? So out of these things, some of the optimal points also there, right? Most important question, most of the time they are asking recent days, explain the location of substation or explain the optimal location of a substation. So this is about this class. Next class I am discussing about the rating of a distribution substation. This is also most important question. The rating of a distribution substation, so that is square shape and hexagonal shape. So and also this is the most important one. substation service area with n number of primary feeders. In recent times, so rating of substation is most of the time asking, right? I'm discussing next class. So in this class, what is substation? What are the classification of substation? What is the difference between indoor and outdoor substation? And so location of a substation and optimal location of a substation, right? So is there any doubt? Please ask me.